that initial statement until next week. And so our release of video is based on when he comes in and gives his statement, and then we create the video. We will release all this video. It's our policy to release all Officer Balch videos. We try to do within a week. Again, going back to the Roy Oliver murder trial of Jordan Edwards, they began both investigations immediately that night and mixed those two investigations and almost got that case thrown away. And we never want to take the chance on obtaining a criminal case, because obviously, so we don't start our internal investigation until the criminal investigation has reached a point that they don't need him for that investigation anymore. So he will be on administrative leave until we get to that point, and if that takes 6 months, that takes 6 months. We just will not risk the criminal case for an internal investigation. But so the process from here is the criminal case will start next week. When he comes in with his attorney and makes his statement, we will release the video hopefully by the end of next week, cognizant of when the funeral is. We obviously don't want to release the video during the funeral. We've had that request from families before to hold the video just so the media doesn't make the funeral into a show. And so if you have requests about when the video will be released, before we release the video, we will invite you all to come and watch it. We don't want you to watch it on YouTube for the first time. We want you to be the first people that watch it. So once we have that video, we'll reach out. I don't know if you want us to reach out through you.
Please.
And then we will show you all the video before we release it. But certainly, if the release of the video impacts y'all, if you want us to change it, feel free to let us know when it's best for you or worse for you, so we can avoid and try to do the best we can.
Can I ask you a question about policy that has implications in this case, but not necessarily about this case?
Sure.
In a situation where an individual is being held by an officer and they're not complying and they tend to leave, deadly force is not permitted to stop them from leaving.
As a general rule, no.
Yeah.
Not without some other.
Right.
There has to be a clear threat.
Right. Okay.
But this case and this shooting really bothered me, and it had bothered folks that I've been connected with as well, as far as the leadership of the city. And I just want you to know that we're going to make sure, based on the investigation, based on the outcome of this investigation, to make sure that justice is done in this case. Like I say, we can't say a lot about it right now because we don't know. We don't want to do a lot of hearsay about it because
Recent years. So the other son was shot by a civilian. I don't know, 2 years ago.
Yeah, October 2nd, 2000, right around the corner, actually, Hillcrest Apartments. So we're dealing with that now, and the trial's about to come up for that. So not only are we dealing with that, now we got to deal with this. In my son's case, in Dylan's case, that was civilian on civilian. So you just got two young guys in the wrong, which is somewhat acceptable. But in this case, it's totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. And I'm disgusted. Totally disgusted.
Can I ask you a question? Have the other two suspects or witnesses been located yet?
I do not know.
I don't think we have located them. I can't speak to if we have. I think we have identified them probably.
Okay.
I don't know if we have located them.
Okay.
To answer your question, I think we may have.
Well, I do, since we're actually getting to the statement, the statement that you released said that there were 3 people questioned and released, and the one person who was basically brought in he had outstanding warrants.
He was one of the 3.
Okay, so 2 people were questioned and released, one who was arrested but for nothing related to this incident.
Correct.
So ultimately, your officers found that the occupants of that car, other than the decedent, the investigation's ongoing. The other occupants were not involved in any criminal activity.
No criminal incident was identified at that point in time.
Okay.
So,
But
no.
then I imagine they can't. Yeah. Well, if we're getting to
Yeah, because I'm confused now.
yeah. 3 people released, and then the 2 others that you said you've identified. Those are the occupants of potentially
I didn't ask,
identified. Yeah.
I'm not visiting directly. I'm just assuming from visiting with the other occupants they've identified, and that's what I'm basing off that. So,
Those other occupants weren't linked to that stolen vehicle.
I don't know from what, I'm guessing.
If they had been linked to that stolen vehicle, they would have been arrested.
To my knowledge, I haven't found them. I can find that out for sure.
Yeah, I went home with a fever yesterday, and I came in late just for this meeting. So
Oh, I appreciate it.
I don't know.
Yes, sir. All right.
I'm glad that the legal counsel brought that up because the community is getting confused. They're real confused about the vehicles because we're getting the impression that those 3 occupants that was in the sedan, no, I'm saying 1 and 2. The sedan 1 is the Hyundai that was reported stolen, and sedan 2 was the vehicle that Mr. Lawrence's daughter owned. They are getting the story twisted because they're saying people ran from the sedan number 2 to give the community the impression that those folks were the ones that had committed the offense. And what the council is saying, and based on what I read also, that it wasn't nobody arrested but that one person that had outstanding warrant, and the other 2 people were released. So some kind of way they are putting those stories together to make people think that the folks in that sedan that wasn't doing nothing wrong, wasn't bothering nobody, was the one that fled. So the story, everybody that's gonna read the story is confused about it.
I
And
can't
I'm glad
say.
the council brought that up.
I can't say that I brought it up because your statement provided clarity for us, and that's what we would ask. What was the disposition of everyone in the vehicle? And it seemed that
I thought that was in the statement.
no, that's what I said. Your statement did
From what
answer
I
that
read
question.
was that there were 4 people, including your son, in the one vehicle. And those were the people that 2 were released, 1 was arrested, and then what happened to your son? And the other vehicle, from what I read, was unoccupied at the time, but it was 2 people that ran from the scene that were probably associated to that vehicle that you have not found, but may have identified.
So, have not found, have not identified.
Have not, okay. So, can I ask one question? I'm sorry. So I also read that there were guns found in a vehicle. Which vehicle was the guns found in?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Didn't make your report because it did not seem to play a role in this incident. To what we know so far,
If it does in the future, then we will update.
then you'll
that.
update it, right?
But, yeah, I don't want to bring in superfluous information.
Absolutely.
If it is superfluous.
Yeah. Okay. Gentlemen, really thank you so much for your time.
That justice is served. The chief shared as much information as he could with us. See, we have the family here. We have Brown and several other of the family members of Payton Lawrence, and they're all concerned about the situation. So we'll give you more information as we can update you in the future.
Because I was telling Mr. Lawrence I have 2 boys, and I, can't imagine, and I can't imagine what he's going through, and I am so sorry. But I do believe that we're going to get justice. I do believe that regardless of the situation, that the outcome is going to come in our favor, and we are here for you.
And what are you expecting to see on the
Well, I expect to see, as information makes itself available to us, there's going to be some town hall meetings. It's going to be some a table talk amongst leaders of this community, and we're going to devise the best plan to deal with this. Like I say, it reminds me of the Jordan Edwards case out of Balch Springs that we had about 5 years ago, where Roy Oliver, he was found guilty of shooting into a car. So where they do that at, you shoot into a car. So I hope the city can show justification for what they done. You know, and I think that it's gonna be a tough call. It's gonna be a tough call because they're gonna have to show us, that officer's gonna have to prove to us how and why he felt threatened to the point where you shooting 3 times into a car that was occupied by individuals. So that is the kind of Gestapo tactic that and trickle habit type syndrome that we try to discourage out here, and we just can't have law enforcement doing that. So, like I say, we'll have a lot more to say about this, but we're gonna have to wait to eventually have the ones that are in control to talk to the officer, and we got to see the video, and then we'll be able to address this better. But like I said, it's shaping up based on what we're hearing from the street. Hearsay, you can never go with hearsay, but people are talking, and it's shaping up to be something like what happened to Jordan Edwards out in Balch Springs. And just like what happened to Jordan Edwards, we hit the streets, we demonstrated, we did everything that was possible to bring attention to the lies that were told by that police department. And Jordan Edwards, murderer, became like one of the first police officer to get convicted in over 50-some years here in the state of Texas for killing a black man. So it's following the same guideline based on the evidence that we're hearing now. But still, we're gonna have to see.
One last question before you go. Was anybody ever arrested for stealing a car?
And that's one of the things that I wanted to piggyback off on what Henry was just saying, because a lot of the rumors that we're hearing here in our community, Peyton and 3 other teenagers, I'm gonna say teenagers, were in one car. There were 2 cars that night. One of them was a car that was stolen. The people that were in the car that were stolen, those people fled. And as a matter of fact, there was no one in the car when the police officer pulled up. Peyton was in his car, in his sister's car, as a matter of fact, with his friends. So there's 2 different cars. The people that fled, that actually was in the stolen car, they don't know who those people are. They have not found those people.
And they were making it seem like
They were making it seem as if Peyton and his friends
and
were
2
the
people were
subjects.
fleeing his car.
Correct,
Yes,
and that's not
exactly.
the case.
That's
There was no
everything.
shooting from Peyton's car. There was no one in his car that was probably a threat to this officer, and hopefully the body count will show that.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
The car, then pulled him out while he was dead and handcuffed him. So we're about to see what's going on with that right now. But a sad situation.